Hello, welcome back to my corridors. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my corridors. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to film more videos outside, like the longer videos on my channel, because the lighting in my bedroom is absolute crap, and that's why it doesn't look so good. So that's why I'm going to try to film shorter videos with my cell phone and longer videos on my Chromebook, like with better lighting. And my bathroom is decent too, but it's actually kind of nice outside. It's the sun is not completely down yet, and the mountains I can see in the sky are really, really nice. So it's not perfect, but this will do for now. So I've been meaning to make a video on this, but I've just been very busy with work and stuff. Today I want to be talking about my recent concert experience, which you all saw on my social media, but I want to actually go into detail because there was a lot of funny stuff. So I'm sure most of you know, I went to go see Lamb of God for literally the third time. I saw them with Killswitch and Gage. I saw them with For An Autopsy and Animals as leaders. It was a great finale for my concerts for this year, and this is the fourth concert I've been to in an entire year. Normally I would go to two, now it's doubled, and I'm really glad I get the chance to do that. So, alright, so starting, it was kind of crazy. So I was like, Ticketmaster was taking its sweet time of like delivering the tickets to me because I got the mobile tickets, and I got so upset that I was worried that I wasn't going to get my ticket and they weren't going to let me in. So I started sobbing and crying, and it was just really awful, and I'm glad you didn't see that. So thankfully it all did work out, but it was just a crazy story that I wanted to bring up. So when the concert, like before the concert, my brother ended up joining me and Derek too, so that ended up happening last minute, but I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we all got a chance to do that. So yeah, we ate something before we headed over to, we went out to eat before we headed to El Paso, and we were in line, and this was the second time this year I've gone to the Don Haskins Center for a concert. It was so much less crowded compared to Iron Maiden, because Iron Maiden, like, that's these people's literal religion, so it's like, a part of me doesn't, you know, these are some of the most devoted fans I've ever seen. With Lamb of God and them, it was actually a much shorter line, and a lot more people were cooler and stuff. So at the Lamb of God show, people are a lot more respectful. I'm like, sorry, and they're like, no, you're fine. But with Iron Maiden, people were a little bit more rude. Like, I got a lot of dirty looks from people, but at Lamb of God, that didn't happen. So my brother went on to go on his own and go, like, hang out wherever he did. Derek and I, we were originally at the top of the seats in the stadium, but there was something really cool that happened. Because there were a lot of people, like, up here and not down here in the lower seats, I guess a lot of people didn't think about buying them. They said that we can move on down there wherever we want, so that was really nice, and I'm glad I got a better view of the stage. So, and before the show started, we ended up talking to a guy who had seen Lamb of God literally 11 times, and not gonna lie, I mean, he was cool, but he was kind of loud, and he was kind of a freak. I don't know, he talked about getting into a fight with people, and yeah, there are people who fight at shows and stuff, so I try my best to stay away from those people, but I guess they can be fun to talk to if there are people who have seen a band like 11 times like that guy did, so that was cool. He saw them with Slayer, like, and I'm glad I had something in common with them. We saw them on the same tour almost, so that was cool. So when For An Autopsy played, that's when they said that we can move seats like down lower when the show started. And when For An Autopsy played, me and Derek immediately went down there and found better seats. And I'm gonna remember those seats next time I buy tickets. They're probably a little bit more pricey, but it's worth every penny. Because if I get a great view of the stage, that's what matters to me. But unfortunately, because I was closer to the stage, my audio of my videos were crackly, and that's why it was just crap, if any of you have seen the videos. So it was funny, I almost tripped when going down the stairs, because I guess me and Derek were in a rush to go get those seats, but it ended up, I mean, I was fine though. It's okay. I didn't end up taking my vest, sadly. I thought I was going to, but I didn't. And it was kind of hot in that stadium. Not as hot as Iron Maiden, but it still was hot, so it's always a good thing to remember, you know, what to wear, what not to wear at a concert, depending on how many people are there. Learned that from Iron Maiden, so yeah, For An Autopsy, they were the first band that played, and I've been listening to them quite a lot, even before I went to go to the show, because they are a really great band. They've had quite a few lineup changes over the years, but they were still pretty good. They put on a kick-ass show. Everybody was headbanging, everybody was moshing. Not everybody, but everyone a lot of people on the floor, which we weren't on the floor, but we were pretty close. They were starting the pit, obviously. Funny thing, there were people doing push-ups in the pit, and never seen that at a show before, but I'm not gonna forget that. That was something else. But then they played a couple. For an Autopsy played a couple songs from their newest album. I forgot the name, but something about life. I can never. The funny thing is, I can't remember names of albums, but I can remember the artwork. I'm sure you know it's the woman and the child in the forest stuff. So if any of you could remind me of that, I would be grateful, because my brain is almost like Dory from Finding Nemo. I'm sorry. But I've been listening to them quite a bit, and they were pretty good. I got some merch for them. I only got merch for them. I wasn't planning on getting Lamb of God or Killswitch Engage or their merch. Because one, I already have a Lamb of God shirt, and two, like, I'm not crazy about Killswitch Engage. They're a great band, don't get me wrong, but they're just not really a band I would have merch for, so. But For An Autopsy, yes. So, yeah, I got my hands on that, and it's actual concert tee. It wasn't as soft as the normal shirts I get, but it's a really comfortable shirt, and I really love wearing it. And so, yeah, everybody, yeah, they were a great start to the show. It's always great when a band like that starts the show. It's really great. And me and Derek were turning to each other saying, that was incredible, something like that. So this was our anniversary present, so we got to do that. So the second band that played was Animals as leaders. I got some water before the show, so I drank a little bit, and Derek and I snacked on some popcorn, so that was nice. Even though we ate, we still wanted to snack on something, not really eat a meal, because we had already eaten a meal before. So Animals as Leaders played, and that was an incredible show. So the funny thing is, they're a very progressive band, and their music is, I think, their music is mostly all, or if not all, instrumental. So, and there's only 3 members. I don't think they have a bass player. So, they put on an interesting show. The funny thing is, because they're a more instrumental progressive band, nobody started a mosh pit. Everybody just stopped, looked, and just paid attention to the band. That was something, I've never seen that at a metal show. So, that was really interesting to see. There's going to be cars going by. I'm sorry about that. That was interesting to see. So, I'm gonna forever remember that. And Derek is a guitar player, so he said that's when it comes to technicality, that's the best band he's ever seen live, and I've gotta agree with that, because that was one of the best bands I've seen live too, because I didn't feel like headbanging. It was just so calming to hear instrumental music. And I mean, their their main frontman, main guitarist, his name is Tossin Abasi. He did interact with the audience, but not a whole lot. But how are you guys? Something like that's what he did. But our next song is whatever, the typical things you hear at shows. That's something I'm gonna forever remember. So, there wasn't much interaction with, in between sets. It was just the same old going to the bathroom, going to get water, or stuff like that. Wasn't anything too crazy, but. So one of the main headliners obviously was Killswitch Engage, if any of you had seen on the internet, on their social media. So when they came on stage, it was something I'm not gonna forget. So so they started playing Jump by Van Halen, and their current singer is Jesse Leach. I'm sure I think that's who he is, if I can remember his name correctly. It's not Howard Jones. That's who the singer was whenever I listened to them, and I should probably start getting back into them, because they are really, really good. Don't get me wrong, but they why is my phone not working? My music just cut off. Sorry. It was so funny. They started playing Jump by Van Halen. I don't know why I said Eddie Van Halen. Van Halen, sorry. My brain is just kind of dead right now. And Jesse Leach was behind the stage singing his own version of the song, and one of the lines was, "So go and get drunk." And they all started one by one coming onto the stage, and then they started playing, actually. That's something I'm not going to forget. that was like the funniest. That was the funniest way I could ever like see a band start. Sorry, I'm trying to get my music back on. And they did play some of their classics that I know, like My Curse, and they played Holy Diver too, which I didn't think they were going to play that live, but they did, and they kind of made a tribute to Ronnie James Dio when they did. They had to, of course, and they played This Fire, and you know, a lot of their classics too, a lot of their newer stuff that I'm not really quite familiar with too much, but I kind of got out of them after Howard Jones left the band, because that was the singer I knew when growing up, but I'll probably get back into them now that I've seen them, and now I've like started to hear some of their newer songs. I'm like, okay, this is actually really good, so something to keep in mind. And their singer Jesse Leach did interact with the audience. He asked some interesting questions like, who here has been high before? Raise your hand. Never happened to me, so I didn't raise my hand. And then he asked this question like, who here is Mexican? By show of hands, who is Mexican? And I turned at my boyfriend and looked at him, and he was just cheering and raising his hands, woo, because he's a little Mexican boy, so... The reason why he asked is, Jesse Leach asked is because he's like, turns out a lot of our biggest fans are from Mexico, and I have met a lot of people from Latin America who are big diehard metalheads. They're pretty common there, so it's an interesting thing. So it's an interesting statistic to know. So it's good to keep that in mind, because I do have a lot of friends, online metalhead friends, who are from Latin America. So a part of me is not surprised, because I kind of did know that in a way. So. But I did think that was funny. Because, I knew he was going to get up and raise his hands, so... And they put on a kick-ass show. That was something else. I'm going to forever remember that, too. How they entered on stage, especially, but... They put a pretty good show on, and they mentioned, their singer said something like, who here is a fan of Ronnie James Dio? Show up the horns if you're a fan of Ronnie James Dio. Me, Derek, and almost everybody in the stadium raised their hand, up like this, and you can't ever disrespect him. You just can't. There's no reason why you should, so never disrespect one of the kings of metal. So, and that's when they played Holy Diver, and that was great. I'm gonna forever remember that. So, when Lamb of God finally appeared, that was, like I said, that was my third time seeing them, and I gotta say that was the best, because I had the best view of the stage. I was down here, and here was the stage. I was still far away, but I had a great view of the stage. And I could see Randy and them, with a crisp view, just like I saw Testament and Death Angel for the second time. That was... like I said, I'm gonna forever remember where I was sitting, and I'm gonna make sure to buy seats in that area where I was, where they let me sit, so. And they played a lot of stuff from their newest album, Omens. Obviously, this was the tour for their newest album, so they played quite a few songs from that. They played, Memento Mori was their start, and I think that's forever gonna be, the song they first start playing at concerts now, so, because, it's always they're always behind a curtain, and when the softer part of the song plays, and then when the louder part plays, that's when the curtain rises, and you can finally see them and the lights go on. So if I do ever see them again, for a fourth time, I'll forever remember that's going to be their song they play every time at the beginning. And obviously they played their classics like Redneck, Now You Got Something to Die For, Walk With Me in Hell. Or no, it wasn't Now You Got Something to Die For, it was Walk With Me in Hell. Obviously, Laid to Rest. Yeah. I'm sure every Lamb of God fan knows what songs they're gonna play, so... And yeah, the mosh pit broke out, of course, like that, and people were still doing push-ups in the pit. Why is that a thing? I don't know. But yeah, that was a great concert experience. Best way to end my concert experiences for the year, so... Yeah, that was something else. I'm not gonna forget that. And we drove home, and I was okay the next day, went to work, and just still forever remembered it, so, yeah. For those of you who are not familiar with, the other bands that played Fit for an Autopsy and Animals as leaders. I'm definitely going to link some of their songs in my description in this video, that way you guys can check them out, because I feel like everybody needs to listen to Animals as leaders, because even if you're not into metal, they are a really great band to see live, and musically they are awesome. Like, just do it, just check them out, they're awesome. Alrighty, I think that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. There's an airplane going by, but I'm about to end the video, so yeah, support me on whatever and stay metal.